My sister-in-law went to unbelievable lengths to try and ruin my wedding. Y'all gotta hear about it. I just told y'all how my husband's little sister is currently trying to ruin our honeymoon. You can go watch that video here. But what she did during our wedding, honestly, way worse. The issues with the wedding actually began when we announced our engagement. She ran out of the room crying, like sobbing because she was so upset. She said that she felt like she was going to lose her big brother. Okay. Cry to your pillow, not in the middle of an engagement announcement. There was absolutely no time for anyone to congratulate us because they were too busy comforting her. The next big issue is when she found out that I wasn't gonna ask her to be a bridesmaid. She absolutely lost her mind about that. I got so many texts from all members of my husband's family trying to get me to reconsider, but no. I knew how she would be and didn't want her around me on my wedding day. And at every single event leading up to the wedding, like engagement parties or the rehearsal dinner, she was making everything about herself, constantly throwing temper tantrums. It was a mess. Because I know this girl, I was already prepared for her to try and make our wedding day about herself, but nothing could have prepared me for the lengths that she went to. Everything was pretty peaceful the day of my wedding until guests started arriving, and that's when my maid of honor bursts into the room we're getting ready in, and she looks so flustered. I was like, what's going on? And she tells me, his little sister's in white. My maid of honor had gotten a picture of her in the dress, and yeah, it was a floor-length cream. I will give her that. It was off-white, but it was covered in lace and sparkles, and it very much looked like a wedding dress. My maid of honor had already asked her to change, and of course, my sister-in-law was like, no, I got this dress specifically for this wedding. You're so dramatic, blah, blah, blah. The next thought that my maid of honor had was, do I spill something on it? Do I just get a bottle of wine and dump it all over the dress? My initial thought was to say, absolutely do it, but then I thought about it, and I realized that if this happened, his little sister would throw the biggest temper tantrum and it would probably ruin the entire day because she wouldn't stop screaming about it. So whatever, I just realized that she was the one that was gonna look stupid wearing this dress, not me, and I just needed to let it go. It wasn't the end of the world. But obviously, this was not the only thing she did to try to ruin the wedding, because as I'm walking down the aisle, I'm walking past his little sister, and as I pass her, I feel like a tug on my dress, and I hear a rip. I look down, her foot is on the train of my dress, and as I take in a step, it ripped. I make eye contact with her, and she's mouthing like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like, my bad. And I mean, she has a smile on her face. It was clearly on purpose. Feels like she's trying to hold back a laugh, but I just smile at her, try not to have a reaction because I am walking down the aisle to get married. But that wasn't enough for her to try and ruin the ceremony, because as I'm in the middle of my vows, talking about how much I love my husband, out of the corner of my eye, I see her get up. I was already thinking, what is she doing? Why is she getting up in the middle of my vows? And that's when I hear a giant crash. On her way to go to the bathroom, in the middle of my vows, she tripped and fell into a pillar holding a floral arrangement, and it crashed and broke all over the ground. Everyone turns, they're staring at her, and instead of just trying to play it off or being low-key, she says loudly for everyone to hear, so sorry, everyone. I am so clumsy. That is so like me. No, don't look at me. Don't even look. Turn back around for those vows. Just like, why? Why did she have to say anything? Why? But finally, my husband and I say I do. We're married and it's time for the reception. And at this point, I'm thinking, you know what? The reception, it's fun. Everyone's here to have a good time. What could she possibly do that's worse than what she's already done? But no, she was not done trying to make this wedding about her, because it got to the point of the reception when we were supposed to do speeches. I think that you can kind of see where this is going, but you actually have no idea where it's going because it's way worse than you could ever imagine. We'd obviously already pre-planned who was going to be giving speeches during our wedding, and I made sure that my husband told his little sister that she would not be giving a speech because I did not want her to even think that that was something that she should do. But when the best man was getting ready to give the microphone over to my maid of honor who was going to give a speech, guess who jumped in and just stole it? Yeah, his little sister. She begins by saying, I wasn't originally supposed to give a speech tonight, but I have a really special surprise for my brother. That's when I see a video start to play on the projector in the reception hall, and I start hearing the track for Near, Far, Wherever You Are. Like, my heart will go on, the love song. But it wasn't like the Celine Dion version. No, it was just the instrumentals because his little sister decided that she was going to be doing a cover of it. She was going to be singing that live and in action, and she's not a great singer. I'm sure that she's really good at other things singing, Not one of them. And then on the projector, there starts to cycle through photos of her and my husband growing up together as kids. And not just photos, there's captions. And these captions are weird. They say things like, a boy's first love is his little sister. There is no bond that can replace the bond between a brother and his little sister. Like things like that. It was weird. There was also a photo of them hugging, and the caption under was, the only woman that will ever truly understand him. So, there's just nothing I can say about that. This slideshow is so long that she sings the song all the way through, and the slideshow's not over. So she doesn't even transition to another song. She just starts My Heart Will Go On over from the beginning. And I'm looking around, and everyone very uncomfortable, except for his parents, because they love it. They think it's so cute. They think this is the cutest thing they've ever seen. But after it's gone on for over 4 minutes, I was like, you know what? No. I tried to be nice and, just let her do what she needed to do. But this needs to stop because it's horrible. So I texted my maid of honor, who then went up to the person who was in charge of all the video stuff and got it shut down, got it turned off, got her mic shut off. And when she realized that she was singing and there was no volume and that the presentation had turned off, she freaks out. And she didn't even need a mic for anyone to hear at this point, because she's screaming about how selfish I am for getting her presentation turned off. She was like, weddings are about family and I'm family. I cannot believe you're making this all about you. Just freaking out, sobbing, like sits down on the floor where she's at, temper tantrum. She's 25 years old. I feel like I hadn't noted that. She's 25 years old. My maid of honor and some of my other bridesmaids literally picked her up off the floor and took her outside, and everybody just tried to get back to normal. And we did, for the most part, until it was time for my husband and I to leave. So everybody lines up outside for us to do our exit, to get in the car and then drive off. We start walking down. We're about to get in the car, and all of a sudden, my husband is not next to me. I was like, wait, what is going on? I see that his little sister has pulled him back as he was walking through the crowd, and she's just begging for him not to go. She's crying, absolutely losing it. She's like, no, you can't go. I need you. Like, do not leave with her. You are my brother. You're my family. You need to prioritize me. Everyone is just absolutely shocked. Then my husband turns around to me and he's like, what do I do? What do you do? You say, hey, I gotta go. There's only one right solution. You get in the car and we leave. Luckily, my maid of honor, being the best, grabbed his little sister again, pulled her back, looked at my husband, is like, get in the car, you gotta go. And then obviously his little sister did send me a very long text telling me how I ruined the wedding day for her. Sorry. And if this story told you nothing, there is still a lot more drama to come with his little sister, so let me know if you still want updates.